I look really goofy right now. What's up? Apa kabar? Привет. Ni hao. As you can see, my clothing, you have no idea what's going on. What is this cultural appropriation? Or rather, inappropriation. Okay, no. What am I? What culture am I? We don't know. Because our theme today is languages. I made this video not to motivate you guys, but rather why something we take for granted is actually a core understanding of how we as a society developed. That's too deep. Let me dumb it down. I'm gonna rant about languages as I have a weekly schedule. Okay, before I start, I'll tell you my experience with languages. And it's that I've been learning Mandarin for like a week now, and I'm pretty much a connoisseur. I can speak Mandarin. No, I can't. Which is Bu Hai. Now that was HSK7, by the way. Mandarin as a whole is actually a logographic language. So it's like a hieroglyphic Egyptian type of stuff. And so it does open your mind. What is a ranked language, you know? How do you be the best at English? You know? How? I would watch a game of William Shakespeare and Ice Cube. Which one is the real English? Now, learning a language, there's a little funny scene that is stuck to my head, okay, and that's the Andrew Tate. His dad basically told, you can watch the clip here.
Like, my brother would start to learn Russian because he had some Russian girlfriend, and my dad obviously spoke Russian, and he'd say a few words in Russian, and my dad would say, "Why are you talking to me in Russian when you don't even speak English?" And we'd be like, "What do you mean we don't? What do you mean we don't speak English?" And then he'd start just reciting words from the dictionary, and not just for like 5 minutes. I'm talking about for the next all evening, from 7 p.m. till like 1 a.m. He's sitting there asking you the definitions of words that you've never heard of ever in your history, and you're just sitting there going, "I don't know." He's like, "Well, why don't you get a firm grasp on the English language before you sit there and try to jackass around in Russian?"
What he said was something I thought about when I was learning another language, because I believe what he said has some water, and that if you're not fluent in your own language, or it's very hard for you to communicate in general, I think learning another language should require consideration, because the goal of a language is to communicate, and if you can't even communicate in your own language, then what are you doing? But there's an extent to learning a language. There's some words that I feel like are redundant. Like, I'm not being a hater here, but there are some English words that piss me off, okay? Like, bro, this is a very specific niche ass word. There's also another aspect or another philosophy about language that I want to talk about, and then that it's the movie The Arrival. And in the movie, the premise, which I remembered, is that this squid alien thing can ooze up O's, and a lot of O's, and the protagonist is like, "Oh my god," and then they can see the future, which is, you know, when I see O, it does become the future, and there will be a link between O and 0 after this conversation. But it's basically saying that languages opens perspective. There's a really good TED Talk. I watched like 3 TED Talks before making this video. Did you know Romans hated 0? Not that they hated it, but I saw a TikTok where they said they hated it, but it wasn't used. They just said nothing. And they said, I wouldn't say they said nothing, but they just said like nulle, which is like nothing. And they never bothered to make a symbol for it. And I'm like, that's pretty base. Like, why the fuck do you need a letter for nothing? Isn't nothing already a letter because there's nothing on the paper? And I thought it was like a one-time occurrence until I learned Mandarin. Mandarin from 1 to 10, very simple ass letters. Like, I could make that very, very easily. I remembered it like 5 minutes. But when it comes to 0, which is like ling, oh my god, what happened? They botched a circle. It's low-key deep if you think about it. I guess those two civilizations never perceived nothing as being something, and something being useful for explaining nothing. But nothing isn't something. And you know, it's a loop, like a circle, in that both of them couldn't grasp it, and they just never used it for like math and everything. And that there's a lot of languages that are dying. There are linguists from TED Talk, they were talking about it, and there were many languages that were dying. not only is technology getting better, like I could Google Translate anything now. I could talk someone from outside, just texting and translating what they said. So maybe it's a bit redundant, me learning another language, but you know, I enjoy doing it. And secondly, we are in an era of globalization. Language is a beautiful thing, okay? I love it. It's a culture that has been preserved for thousands and millennia. But in today's modern world, where it's very fast-paced, either you like it or not, maybe languages aren't meant to last. It is a tool for communication, and then again, a tool shouldn't be an identity, but it is something special that we can't take for granted. But we are living in a capitalistic system, so if you use a language that doesn't make money, maybe you shouldn't use the language. But you know, it's up to you. I don't think that way. I like languages. I want to make a video about languages with stock. I don't know how long has the laptop been dead. Oh, it's 1 p.m. at night, bro. I can't be asked. But languages, man, languages, they're very important, okay? And preserving them is part of our responsibility. Maybe. I don't know, I'm going circles like a zero. But essentially, now on to real bits. I'm putting another stock images, okay? With the advancements of Google Translate, etc., should we even bother learning another language? And is closing the doors for minor languages should be seen as a sign of progress or the extension of years of human civilization? I want you guys to think about it and write down in the comment section. And you know what? It's just simple. Write black or white. No racist, but black being... Okay. I don't know if I should put this, but I mean, black and white, I mean, there's two sides. Okay. All right. And I want you guys to just write down the sides you're on. Are you team extinction or are you team preserve? There we go. I almost said perfect. And if you guys love languages like me, give this video a like and follow and other stuff. Think about languages more than you think about other stuff, especially for communication. And see ya.